So, how do you get out of your miserable life situation and create a better life for yourself? Well, you have to take a deep, hard look at yourself and how you're contributing to all of the major problems and dysfunction in your life. You have to figure yourself out. You have to understand yourself deeply. You have to look at things about yourself that you don't want to see. You have to see how much of an asshole you have been in life in certain situations. And then you have to seek to change and transform these behaviors into more productive behaviors. So, although you might have had a tragic life, you might have had lots of trauma, you might have had lots of insanity, there is a way out of that. And one of the major ways out of that is to take a fundamental, deep look at yourself and how you're contributing to it and how your actions are actually making these problems and all this drama actually occur. It's you. And until you first recognize that you're actually the problem and your decisions are the problem and your behaviors are the problem and your habits are the problem, until you see that, you're not going to get anywhere. So, first, take a cold, hard look at yourself. You're going to feel a lot of pain because you're going to see all the shit you've been defending and not wanting to allow in come flooding in. So you're going to see yourself in a different way. It's going to be scary at first. You're going to go, holy shit. Oh my God, look at these problems. I'm an asshole. I was selfish. I was arrogant. What am I doing with my life? Why did I get here? How am I here? It's like you're there because you haven't figured yourself out yet. You haven't figured the world around you out yet. So you're confused, you're disoriented, you're searching for an identity, you're seeking this, you're seeking that, but you're all over the place because you're not stable. Because first and foremost, you're thinking other people are the problem when you're the problem. When you finally take ownership of yourself, that's the biggest step. That's the first step. Take ownership for who you are and what you're doing and how you're contributing to all the dysfunction in your life. Then seek to figure out, how do I change that? What steps do I need to take to become a better human being and to have less suffering in my life? And everyone's journey is different and unique, so I'm not going to proclaim to have the universal answer as to how you change. But I can tell you what kind of worked for me. What worked for me was taking a look at myself, uh, stopping all drugs and alcohol, looking at all my family issues and how that hurt me and affected me, and then seeking to talk truthfully and open and transparent about those issues. And when I could, talk truthfully to the person that I had conflict with to try to resolve the conflict and all the damage, but by speaking the truth of how I actually felt, not by keeping everything inside, but by speaking to that person and truthfully telling them how I feel. You also have to cut out a lot of negative distractions and negative people from your life. You have to recreate a better environment for yourself where you can thrive and where you can get to know yourself and where you can get to know what your strengths are and what you want to do and what you're passionate about. Then you have to have goals. You must have goals. You must have an aim in life where you want to go. And then it's going to be like a big brick wall is in your way, and you have a big axe and you're going to be chipping at one brick at a time to get there. It's not going to happen overnight. Change is not easy. It's not for the weak. It's for somebody who's strong and really wants to have a better life and really wants something worth living for in their life. So you have to have a goal. My own life, it was getting degrees. It was, I want a license for alcohol and drug counseling. I want a master's degree. I want to start this business. It was one thing at a time. And it was very, very difficult for me. None of this was easy. This has all been extremely challenging. And I also had mental health issues I had to deal with that I have. Bipolar disorder. I've had to deal with that. But if you really want to change and you seek that path, you will inevitably find yourself in a better place than if you never decided to change. So it's like you as a human being can seek out where you want to go and where you want to be. And then you have to figure out what is standing in my way from getting there. And then you have to figure out those problems. And some of those problems are difficult and hard and stressful and painful. But unless you go through the pain, unless you go through the struggle, you will never achieve greatness. Greatness is on the other end of suffering, like David Goggins said in his video on YouTube. You know, David Goggins was a great influence for me. Jordan Peterson was a great influence for me. Marcus Aurelius was a great influence for me. Christ was a great influence for me. Lao Tzu was a great influence for me. What I did was I studied a lot of great men, looked at what they did, started to apply things that they do on a daily basis and incorporate them into my own life. I had to develop structure, order, discipline, routine, and then I had to repeat structure, order, discipline, and routine over and over and over and over to ingrain new ways of living, new behaviors, new people, new dreams, new goals, new ambitions. You have to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So to transform, you have to take a cold, hard look at yourself. You have to take a cold, hard look at all the problems in your life, all the people in your life. And then you have to figure out, where do I want to go? Where do I want to be in 2 years? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Matthew McConaughey, when asked, who is your hero? He thought for a bit. And then he said, it's me in 10 years. My hero is me in 10 years. So Matthew McConaughey is chasing a perfect version of himself, which he knows he will never obtain, but he's okay with that. So he's chasing himself. You don't want to compare yourself to other people, because when you compare yourself to other people, you're always going to feel inferior, because somebody's always going to be smarter, have more money, be better looking. You want to compare yourself to yourself. So you want to become the best version of you. You want to become an individual. You want to understand yourself deeply. The ancients said the key to life is to know thyself. So you have to understand yourself on a deep level. And to understand yourself on a deep level, you have to recognize that you are the problem, that you are creating the problems that exist in your life, that the one common denominator in all these problems is you. So just take a look at yourself. Be okay with feeling a little bit shitty that you were not a good person in some relationship, or that you contributed 50% to the downfall of that relationship. You have to use the past and bad experiences and traumatic experiences as lessons from whatever created us to teach you to do things different, to do things in a way that brings you what you actually want in your life. If you want more peace, if you want more sanity, if you want more prosperity, if you want more wealth, you have to understand yourself. And then you have to have goals. And then you have to have structure. You have to have order. You have to have discipline. You have to have routine. And then you have to literally be obsessed and hell-bent on achieving those goals. You have to want to get there. You have to want to be more than you currently are. And if you have a burning desire deep inside your heart to change, to become a better person, and to have a better life, you will inevitably reach that better life. And you'll be glad that you did all the work necessary to get there. And if you just sit there and wallow in your misery and complain and do nothing to change or to try to change, then it is not anybody else's fault that you're there. It is your fault. You decided to sit in your shit, in your misery, instead of seeking help, instead of trying to figure it out, instead of trying to change, instead of trying to be a better person. You made that decision at the end of the day. You know, I have serious mental health issues, bipolar disorder. So I've dealt with all this stuff mentally. So that's still not an excuse in my mind to allow yourself to stay somewhere. If you want to change, you will change. If you want to figure out your own mind, you will figure it out. But you have to do the work. And you have to want to change. And you have to have change be the number one thing in your life. It has to be more important than girls and drugs and sex and rock and roll and partying and all the other BS. You have to want to become a better person. If you become a better person, get your own shit in order, then you can go and do the things you want in life. But until you understand yourself, until you take responsibility for yourself, you're not going anywhere in life. And that's what separates people from people that progress forward and actually make changes from people who sit and wallow in their fucking misery. So it's on you. It's up to you. And I'm saying that because I know it to be true. I know it's 100% true what I'm saying. So I've done it. I've changed. If you want to change, you know, whatever, take whatever you can from this video and incorporate it into your own life. But realize you got to change the people you're around. You got to change your own behaviors. You got to change your own habits, and you got to have goals. You got to do those things to become a better human being. And you can do it. You can do it. It's possible. Is it difficult? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. Is it worthwhile? Yes. Have a good day.